Hope for peace in Colombia remains high, but social organizations are demanding the bilateral ceasefire as a necessary measure to improve chances to end a civil war that has left 220,000 people dead and millions affected. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita has the story.
Concern is high among over 500 social organizations that have released a joint statement calling on the government and the FARC to not give up their efforts for ending the conflict. The statement comes as the peace talks have resumed in Havana amid heightened tensions due to the recent escalation of the conflict.
None of the parties have suggested the suspension of the talks, but rather that they will insist on the negotiations as the FARC has publicly stated. Our concern is that after so many tough attacks, with an impact also over civilians, the willingness ends up declining at some point.
The intensification of airstrikes have already left 41 guerrillas dead, among them Jairo Martinez, who was part of the FARC peace negotiators. Now representatives of Cuba and Norway, guarantor countries of the peace process, have also expressed their concern and called on to advance towards a bilateral ceasefire, something that for social organizations is the very only way to push forward the negotiations.
The conflict must be de-escalated towards a bilateral ceasefire, towards constructing the conditions so that the negotiations could improve the life conditions of the population, so that further loss of human lives as a result of war can be prevented in Colombia.
As the FARC's 5-month unilateral ceasefire reduced the intensity of the conflict by nearly 90%, residents of the rural areas were starting to feel some relief from the violence. Now, as the bombs are falling once again on their territories, they urge for a bilateral ceasefire. For social organizations, the bilateral ceasefire is a humanitarian issue, especially after the FARC's unilateral truce proved to be extremely effective at reducing the violence and sparing hundreds of lives, most importantly from the civilian population. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá, Colombia.